What is up, everybody, and welcome to the Joe Kilgallon podcast, aka Kilgallon's Pub. I hope you're having yourself a wonderful day, and the fucking microphone's on the right thing. Guys, here we go. I'm leaving it in. I don't give a shit. Leaving the bad intro in. I'm pulling a Jonah Jerkins, everyone. For those of you listening to my other podcast, Let's Get Dumb, I missed a couple episodes, and Jonah had to do the intro, and it was as bad as you thought it would be. So I get to rip on him in that regard, and also I get to keep my streak. You guys remember, I think about like 7-8 episodes ago, I decided that I was going to poke fun at Jonah, give Jonah a little shit on every episode of the Joe Kilgallon podcast to see if one day he hears this. I see him often, 4 times a week, and I have yet to hear him be like, "Hey man, heard you running your mouth about me on your podcast." He would never talk like that, by the way. He'd be like, dude, I heard that you, that's more him. But anyway, I'm going to keep that theme going, and I'm getting to it within the first minute. Excuse me. Cough is still lingering. God damn it. It's still here, but we're going to have ourselves some fun. Sorry, the podcast is, a whole week behind. I'm going to be straight up honest with you. I'm slightly discouraged by one thing. Last week's episode I put back on YouTube. I've been pretty fucking shitty and inconsistent with everything social media related to my career, and it's okay. Try not to beat myself up about it, but it is what it is, and I have no right to complain about where I am or what I'm accomplishing because it's on me. You know what I'm saying? Anyhow, though, I put up what I thought was a pretty decent episode last week or 2 weeks ago, and YouTube's like, you said the C word right away, so therefore we're going to minimize its reach, minimize the amount of advertisers we could have, which is stupid. Because if I'm an advertiser, I want to advertise on shows that are fucking cool, okay? That cool people like. You know what I mean? Not a bunch of fucking stiff squares who don't fucking spend money on shit. Like, if I'm an advertiser, I want to be like, all right, this podcast you're talking about, the guy's dropping C words right away. All right, well, that's going to attract a cool audience. And I want cool people using my product. That way other people go, hey, look at those fucking cool people over there. Well, what products are they using? Let's use what the cool kids are using so we could feel cool for a goddamn change. Because we all know that we've been losers our whole fucking lives, right? So we want to break this loser cycle we got rocking here. We're going to go do what they're doing. We're going to feel better about ourselves, and we're going to get laid finally. Or if not, we're going to at least pretend like we're fucking cool. Fake it till you make it, that kind of thing. You know what I mean? At least I could jerk off without fucking wanting to cry because I'm such a fucking loser. That's how these people think. This is how these people think. And I want advertisements to get to them, but YouTube's being all like, you said a bad word, so now we're not going to make any money for you. And then I get further pissed off. You see what's happening here? You fucking feel me? Feels like I'm about to break down and cry, but really it's just the throat. Anyway, welcome to the Joe Kilgallon podcast. I like to start with every episode with a little bit of gratitude. So big shout out to all the listeners, all the people who have been watching on YouTube, watching my stand-up comedy on YouTube. Feel free to spread the word. I'm going to start fucking getting going again. I dropped a YouTube short the other day. I'm going to drop another one tomorrow. I'm going to get back in the swing of things, damn it. I am not down and out, okay? My back was against the ropes, but now I'm back swinging. You know what I mean? Don't get too fucking close. I'll bite you. That's how I'm taking on this goddamn world going forward. All right. We're going to have some fun on today's podcast. I do like to shout out to Patreon subscribers. You guys are my favorite human beings. My fucking hair looks terrible right now, by the way. I fucking feel terrible. I look awful. I look terrible. I said the word terrible too many terrible times, but I'm doing it. I don't know. I want to take this pen and shove it down my fucking eye. That's what I want to do. I've done this in the past. I've done this before where I've started a podcast and then I've realized, I wasn't feeling it. I'll be honest with you guys. I'm not feeling this podcast anymore at all. I think I'm going to keep it Patreon only. I'm going to keep the Patreon going. And if you current Patreon subscribers are like, I kind of wanted it as a bonus thing and you want to bail, that's totally fine. Although I'm going to try to throw some Let's Get Dumb bonus on there. Producer Austin's been collecting stuff from the Let's Get Dumb podcast, but I just don't think I have it in me to do a bonus episode a week, a regular episode a week. And I'm talking to myself. I'm talking to my fucking self. It's too much. I got too much. It's too much. So I don't know how much more I can keep up with this. And every time it's late, I come on here and I go, I'm apologizing. I'm sorry. It's late again. I'm going to get back on track. This thing happened. That thing happened. Yeah. Things happen. Other podcast things happen. All the successful ones, I'm sure those dudes and women have fucking things that come up in their lives, but they figure it out and they get it done. I'm not figuring it out and I'm not getting it done. So something needs to change. And I don't know what it is, but when you find a lack of passion for something, I don't know what to fucking rant about with you guys, just scrolling around, just fucking miserable, being like, oh, you can talk about this, talk about that. I've talked about it all. I think I need to, this podcast has not been the same in years, and yet I kept it going. Used to get big numbers, hasn't gotten big numbers in a while. Why am I just turning this into a fucking sob fest? Who fucking cares? Anyhow, this might be a fucking 10-minute episode. I'm telling you that right now. Does this play YouTube? Hey, YouTube, do you like when people melt down? Is that fun? Does that get advertisers hard? Are they a fan of that? Is Snickers going to run an ad before this now? Because I didn't say the C word, but I'm losing my shit just enough for fucking people on YouTube to find it interesting. Is that the case? I'll do a fudge, marry, kill. I have to call it that now too, because we're living in communist China, apparently. Yeah, man, I don't know. It's becoming one of those things where as a comedian, like if you're not, I don't know, I'm just in a bad mood. I'm learning to fight through bad moods. I wasn't in a good mood for a while today too, for the most part. I didn't go to the gym today. I gotta take care of myself better. I ate like shit today. That was the problem. I ate like shit. Didn't go to the gym. These are things you got to start to do when you're in your late 30s. Yeah, that's right. My late 30s. I did want to shout out a couple Patreon. I just want to remind Patreon subscribers. I think you can't thank you all enough. This podcast will live on in that form. It's easier for me to just do one episode a week of this, 25 to 30 minutes. The Patreon, I don't have to worry about like YouTube censorship or someone popping. I don't know. There's just less to worry about because the Patreon people are cool. It's as little as $3 a month. If you're in the top tier, the $9 a month one, you get free tickets to shows. Most of them, ones I can, not every club lets me, and there's certain things I can't always do, but a good majority of them, especially like the local Chicago ones, I could hook you up. I just hooked up David Flynn and a friend. He's a Patreon subscriber. They were at Community Show last week. He was at Community Show last week with his buddy, and also Manuel Rodriguez came out too. So, those are two Patreon subscribers who came out to the show. I hope they had a great time. Congratulations to Manuel. He just bought a house too. That's fucking dope, dude. A lot of work. I'll be honest with you, a lot of work. That's one of those things that people just aren't honest enough with you about. Certain things in life, as soon as you do them, then people start to be honest with you about them. And it's like, where was that information, 15 minutes ago, dipshit? Where was that then? I remember when I bought a house and people were like, hey, how's the house? I'm like, oh, dude, a lot of work. And they're like, yep. And guess what? The work never ends. And they had a big, stupid, shit-eating grin on their face as they said it. And I remember being like, well, why didn't you if you knew that and you knew me, and you know how I am, and you knew I was looking for a house, why didn't you just pull me aside and say, hey, don't do it? It's a fucking headache. It's stressful, and it's not worth what you get back. Even if you could sell it and make it, I don't even know if that's worth it. I liked renting. Renting was wonderful. It's a waste of money, sure, and you're paying someone else's mortgage. I get all that, but the stress, there's just some things in life where I feel like I think people forget that you die at the end. I do. I think that's one of the things that we often forget. I heard some guys talking. They were much older than me. What the fuck was I? These dudes were in their early 60s, I want to say. Late 50s, maybe I'll give them late 50s. It's hard to tell with men of a certain age. But they were talking about a friend of theirs who bought a condo in Florida. And then another guy was like, I had a friend trying to rope me into that. But get this, he's constantly stressed about it. You know what I mean? Like it's the upkeep, it's the, having someone to go check on it. He only goes down there twice a year. And it's like, fuck that. Who needs that stress? And the other guy's like, I know, who needs that either? I had another friend in Arizona that was worried about that. And with the heat out there, it's you got to make sure that then the AC broke on an Airbnb tenant and he's 3,000 miles away and just all this shit. And I remember just thinking to myself, you know what? These guys figured it out. They knew. And that they were old enough to also know that you're not here forever. So why deal with that? You'd rather pay more. That's what it was. There's dudes I knew who the one guy said he wanted to buy a condo because he usually goes down for the month of March. And he's going down for February and March. But then he did all the math on it. And he's like, it's not worth maybe the little bit of savings I have, the headache the rest of the year. And I just thought to myself, that is good fucking life advice. That's a good life philosophy. It's a good outlook on things. You have to think about shit like that sometimes. And then I don't, what else I think put me in a negative mood right before I started this podcast? I was reading about how crime is down throughout the United States of America, according to the FBI. 26% for sexual assault /rape, 25% for murder. This is across the United States. That doesn't mean where you specifically live, things didn't go up. Okay. And I know I'm sounding a little bit more forceful and dickish when I say this, and I hope it's none of my listeners, but I'm so fucking sick and tired of every dummy in the world not understanding that it's a great big old country and an even great bigger old world. You know, every fucking moron in the world's like, hey, it was chilly where I live. Guess global warming isn't real. I want to grab those people by the back of their dumb fucking heads and curb them into a pile of snow. That's what I'd like to do. Hey, bite hard on this fucking ice block, you piece of shit, as I fucking stomp your face. That's what I want. This episode's not going to get any fucking advertisement from it either. It's just not. Anyhow. All right. Let's take a deep breath here, Joe. Let's practice our breathing exercises. Ooh, ooh. Those are my new ones. I just made them up on the spot. I should do some meditation, though. You know, I got to give a shout out to Tom Bershew. He sent me a link for some meditation. And dude, Tom, I'll be honest with you. I opened it and then was busy and I meant to circle back and I didn't. And I feel like a dickhead because you were being a great friend and I should have fucking opened that up and got into it. I am working on things though. I definitely know there's certain things I have to do in order to be at peace throughout my day. Exercising is a big part of it. Eating well on those days, drinking lots of water on those days. Jesus, man. I am Ferris Bueller. I am everyone's best friend. You all think I'm a righteous dude. Speaking of Ferris Bueller, this ties into the crime thing. Ferris Bueller's Day Off was shot, what did they say? It was 1985, so about 39 years ago or almost 38 years ago this past week in Chicago, or what it came out. And it's a big Chicago movie. So Barstool Sports Chicago had a post saying Ferris Bueller came out this year. What are some of the must-do Chicago things Ferris, Cameron, Sloan would have done? And I didn't really have any recommendations off the top of my head, but I was curious about the comments. Lo and behold, the comments are from people from throughout the country, some local suburbs to Chicago, and they're mostly things like dodge bullets, not get mugged, get carjacked, like all of it was about the negative press Chicago's been getting. So for fun, I decided to look up the murder rate for Chicago in the year 1986, the year Ferris Bueller's Day Off hit theaters. And guess what, everyone? There were more murders in the city of Chicago in 1986, 740, than there was last year with a 690. What, Joe? How could that be? Fox News tells me, and my mom and aunt freak out on Facebook constantly, that Chicago's never been so bad. How could that be true? Did the liberal media go back 40 years and fudge the numbers to make it look worse? This cannot be. It just can't be. It can be, you fucking turd. It can be. Okay? Chicago's always been a wildly violent city. You're just paying attention to it now because you're a fucking sexless fuck. You know what I mean? Go touch some grass, get your dick hard, get a pussy wet, and you'll be a happier person, you fucking loser. But you probably can't do that. You probably don't know how to function that way. So it's better for you to be a piece of shit on the internet. That's your thing. That's your lot in life. And who am I to take that away from you, right? You need it. You clearly need it. Ferris Bueller's Day Off is one of my favorite movies of all time. It is my favorite movie of all time. I love it deeply. It's my go-to to get happy. I'm going to pop it on as soon as I get off this podcast because I fucking love it so much. I don't know what new things Ferris would do because he did so many great things back then that I don't think he's updated too much. I'll have to think about that. Maybe I'll think about that. Well, I'll come up with a list of things Ferris could have done. But to the crime thing too, that crime report was posted today and people didn't believe that either. They just want things to be awful, and it's not even a right-wing thing. It's a left-wing thing too. The left tries to act like things have never been so bad, and the right tries to act like things have never been so bad. Are things great? No, not at all. Things are not great. But I think we're all wrong on what's really horrible and what's really not, But I'm trying to make this a comedy podcast. I've always been someone who wants to make this a comedy podcast. So I'll try to steer away from political shit as much as possible because it's boring and you get it everywhere. You really do. Let's do a fuck, marry, kill and wrap up this one tightly. Sorry, everyone, that I came in with the fucking anger. I came in with the thunder and not the good thunder, the angry thunder, the thunder where it's like, great, now I got to hug my dog for the rest of the night. Not the fun thunder where it's like, ooh, this would be nice to take a nap too. So I apologize there. I will be featuring for Lisa Traeger this weekend in Kansas City, Missouri, or Missouri. And it'll be at the Comedy Club of Kansas City, which is about a little south of the actual city proper. I'm really looking forward to that. Lisa's one of my best friends. It's going to be a fantastic weekend. So yeah, if you're in the Kansas City area, please check out the shows this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. How about that? All right, so let's do this one. I was looking through DVDs. That's where I get my inspiration for a lot of these F, Marry, Kills. This one is a movie called The To-Do List. And believe it or not, I have not watched it yet. It's a bunch of movies I've gotten from the guy I make fun of at the beginning of every podcast or throughout the podcast. He's has a massive collection, so he gives away a lot of things. And I picked this one because I'd heard good things about it and I've wanted to check it out. So the To-Do List, she's going from straight A's to getting her first F. Sounds like a losing a virginity type thing. And I already saw an American Pie comparison on the back, so I guess that's what it is. So I'm going to pick the 3 main female stars from that, and those are the ones I'm going to choose to F, marry, kill. All right, we've got, I wrote it down here for myself, Aubrey Plaza. She's the lead, the main star. Rachel Bilson, you guys might remember her from the OC. And then Aaliyah Shawak. She played maybe on Arrested Development. She was also in the show Search Party, which I never really watched, but my dad loved. My dad loved that show, but I was never really home on TBS at that time. It's probably streaming somewhere. I think I only did a few seasons. I should watch it in honor of him. He had great taste in television. So those are the 3 of my F, marry, kills. All right. I met Aaliyah once. I'm going to do some name dropping here. Eric Andre in the year 2016, 2017-ish, maybe it was 2016. He had a house party, a housewarming. He just bought a house. The Eric Andre show is doing very well. And I knew him enough. We were friends where a buddy could be like, hey, come to the party. Because, he knew me. I'm not going to act like me and Eric Andre were best friends. We're good enough friends where if I ran into him, we'd chit chat for a good 10 minutes or so. So anyhow, I go to this party and a lot of comedians I know and all that kind of stuff. But at one point, he had this one room full of musical instruments. There was a piano, a drum kit, a couple guitars on the wall, some stuff. And he was cool. People just fucking around with the instruments. He's a great guy like that. So I'm like, can I fuck around with the drums? Yeah, go ahead. So I'm playing the drums in this room by myself, playing like the 2 or 3 beats I know, having a good time with it, And this woman walks in and she goes, hey, keep playing that. And then she starts playing the piano. And I'm like, oh, I'm fucking doing a little jam sesh going on here. And my brain, I'm like, who is this? And then she turns and like looks and like kind of changes tempo slightly. And I have to like, try to do a little fill to carry it over, which again, I'm not really a drummer. She didn't know that yet. And I was like, oh, fuck, that's maybe from Arrested Development. Holy shit. That's so cool. And, we just played a little bit and then talked for like a second or two. She was nice. So because of that, I'm going to kill her because I think she told everyone at the party I couldn't drum. No, I'm joking. I don't know if I could kill her. It'd be pretty funny if I chose to kill her. I can't kill her for that reason. I'm going to marry her. Aubrey Plaza, I'm going to bang. I'm a big fan of Rachel Bilson. So I hate that I have to kill her, but I think I have to have this. Aubrey Plaza has a real sexiness about her that you didn't know on Parks and Recreation, but that she has been just showing off in everything since. Like absolutely everything she's been in since Parks and Recreation. Aubrey Plaza has been like, hey, I'm pretty sexy over here. Okay, I could still be the funny, quirky girl, but I got some sex appeal. Okay. And so I kind of like that, like really funny, sexy combination thing she's got going on. So it almost makes me want to marry her, actually. I'm going to marry her, actually, because Aaliyah, I can't say her last name. And she didn't really give me vibes of that we'd get along forever. But and I've already met her. So I could already say I met her. I'm killing her, actually. Rachel Bilson, I'm going to. I just feel like Rachel Bilson wouldn't be the most fun in bed. If Rachel Bilson ever hears this, I apologize. Sometimes I forget these are real people. It's really kind of rude of me the way I break this down sometimes. I'm going to marry Aubrey. I think I'm going to marry Aubrey. Rachel, I'm going to for the reason that I could say, hey, remember that one hot girl in the OC? Yeah, pretty fun. Don't worry, Rachel. If you're ever listening to this, I'll do most of the work. But and it feels weird to kill Aaliyah, but I've this friendship we had. I've gotten all I can get out of the friendship we had. We played a couple songs together, and I will never forget that. All right, Aaliyah or Aaliyah. I don't your name. It's your name. I cannot pronounce it. I don't know what's going on with it. I couldn't even introduce you to anyone I knew because I'd be so embarrassed. I kept screwing up your name. You're really nice. I thought. You were friendly in the music room. I remember leaving later thinking like it was just a normal goodbye, not a hey, fucking great meeting you. Let's jam again sometime. Like, not that I was expecting that, but would have been cool. All right, that's the list. All right, just to recap, Aubrey Plaza, I'm putting a ring on it. Rachel Bilson, shoving your head into a pillow. Why the fuck did I go there with it? And Aaliyah, it's I'll do it where it's you know, it's real quick. You won't see it coming. That way there's no pain, because I don't want any pain for you, because you are great. But these are the choices I was thrown with. This is the game. Don't take it personal. I've been a subject of this game with friends of mine, and often I've been offed. I've been unalived, as I have to say, according to YouTube's new guidelines. It's unbelievable with all this. All right, everybody, that has been the podcast. Join the Patreon. That's where this podcast is going to live going forward. I don't know for sure if that's the case, but I feel like that's what's going to be best for me going forward. Check out Let's Get Dumb. A new episode of that is out today. And you guys just are awesome. Thanks for all the support. All right, cheers.